Okay, we are back on the First and Goal podcast. Hopefully, you listened to our power rankings episode, or if you haven't, go check that one out. But I'm here with Jacob again. How you doing?
We just had a very good power rankings episode, probably the best one we've had. Actually, that might have actually been the best episode we've done as a podcast, if I'm being completely honest. I think there was a lot more passion, a lot more analysis
Analysis.
on that episode.
Yeah.
It's amazing that I love writing. But yeah, so we're gonna go over the coaches getting fired real quick. We're not going to say much more into it. We have an article out on the website, www.winnersonlyclub.com, where we actually predict who's going to be the next head coach of each team that had a fired coach. So let's real quick run through who they were. Starting with the Chicago Bears, no surprise, Matt Nagy and the GM Ryan Pace have been fired.
Bit sad.
It's not sad if you're a Bears fan. Also in the NFC North, Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer and the GM that Rick Spielman have also been fired.
I understand the Zimmer one. I mean, the GM, he has brought talent into their team.
Spielman was there for 16 years. I think it just comes down to are things going to change? I don't think it was a disapproval of his job. I think they just needed fresh eyes. I think Spielman, if he wants to be a GM still, is going to get a job somewhere.
Did you hear about I think who their one of their candidates is for that GM job?
No.
One of the Eagles execs, Catherine Reich or Reichi.
A woman?
Yep.
Good. Shocking news, Houston Texans, David Culley has been fired.
I think that was stupid. So you're punishing a guy for having a poor roster?
I think it's the second dumbest firing on this week. Most dumb, Brian Flores gets let go by the Miami Dolphins, probably in an effort to save the GM's job, even though it sounded like everyone loved Flores.
Well, yeah, I think Flores, he's already getting talked about for interviewing for a bunch of jobs. I think he's actually going to take a job where, former New England guys, the GM has a high draft pick in this upcoming draft.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. I hate it. In New York, the Giants GM, Dave Gettleman, had retired, which led to Joe Judge getting fired.
Well, I mean, Gettleman was going to be fired anyway, so might as well retire.
He saw the writing on the wall, so he just left.
I think Joe Judge wasn't ready for a head coaching opportunity. He was a special teams coordinator beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go special teams to head coach. Not saying that it's impossible because we've seen it. But in Denver, Vic Fangio was fired on Sunday morning. This was actually the first of the Black Mondays, that I guess you can call it Black Week, of firings.
I mean, Fangio, I think they're going to go in a more offensive direction, try and get a new quarterback in there.
I think that's what makes most sense. Obviously, this was all in addition to the Raiders having to part ways with John Gruden, the Jaguars parting ways with terrible head coach Urban Meyer. I feel like I'm missing one, but am I missing one?
I'm trying to think through the list.
There was 8 firings. We had Judge, Nagy, Zimmer, Flores, Cauley, Fangio. No, we got them all.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so that's pretty much the entire news. That and Eric Weddle got signed. We don't really understand why.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, the Las Vegas Raiders, once you read our article, we both agree on who their head coaching candidate should be. And it's
already in the building.
It's the guy that took over for Gruden.
You're just dropping the interim title.
Yeah.
He's just going to be head coach. So we'll go in order of when the games are getting played. We're actually going to do like a little bit of a more discussion this time because there's only 6 games. and then we'll pick just who's going to win, because who cares about the odds when it comes to the actual pickings of these games, because odds don't get you anywhere, winning does. Now, first game of the week is going to be Vegas at Cincinnati. For what it's worth, Cincinnati's -5.5. So let's real quick recap the game, and then we'll go into the picks. Joe Burrow's first playoff appearance, also Derek Carr's first playoff game. He and the Raiders made it to the playoffs, but this was the same season he got injured. We ended up having to see Matt McGloin. This was when Khalil Mack was still on the team. I think the head coach may have been Jack Del Rio.
Yeah, I think Del Rio was, which
So
was sad because Carr was was either 1 or 2 in the MVP voting that year.
I want to say Amari Cooper was still on the team. So this is a completely different team for the Raiders this time around. They're obviously no longer in Oakland. Not that it matters because it's an away game. They're now in Vegas at that shiny new stadium. For the Cincinnati Bengals, this is a feel-good story of a team that at the beginning of the season I didn't expect to be this good. But Joe Burrow has his team firing on all cylinders with all under 26 years old skill positions between the 2 wide receivers, Joe Mixon and Burrow.
And Uzama's not bad for them either at tight end.
No, Uzama's a very serviceable tight end for what talent he has around him. What do you have to add to this game?
I mean, yeah, I think if Vegas can show a pass rush with Crosby and Ngakoue off the edge, or using their big guys up the middle, it could be a little tough for the Bengals offensive line to hold up. That's obviously the weak point in their team.
Agreed. I think this is kind of a game of firsts for literally the entire 2 teams. I really don't feel like there's a lot of guys in this game with playoff experience.
I think a little bit more on the Raiders side.
That's what my guess would be, but I mean, there's just a little bit more age on the Raiders side. So I guess that helps, but I do have Cincinnati advancing. Vegas kind of got lucky that they're even in this game.
Vegas did get lucky that they're in this game. I think Cincinnati might have a little bit better of an overall roster. But man, Derek Carr is playing unbelievable football to end the season.
Yeah, and I'm very happy for Derek Carr because, as I said last week, if he makes the playoffs, you cannot hate on him anymore. We cannot slander his name no more. He did exactly what he needed to do. He was a leader. His stats may not be the most flashy, but he led this team throughout every single controversy. And it's amazing that it's going to be January 14th today, and we're talking about the Raiders playing in a playoff game. So,
yep.
Mad respect for the Raiders. I just don't see them getting it done. If they get it done, though, I will not be upset because I do like Derek Carr that much.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to the Power Rankings episode, I have the Bengals ahead of the Raiders in it. Man, I just like the story. I think this is going to be a close game no matter what. I'm seeing something from NFL.com right now that the Bengals are 1-8 all-time in wildcard games and have lost 7 in a row. Now, most of those were under Marvin Lewis.
I think the last game they played was the Vontaze Burfict Antonio Brown game,
where Vontaze Burfict changed Antonio Brown forever.
Supposedly.
Yeah, I thought he was dead on the field.
Yeah, it was definitely a scary situation. I remember watching that game.
Yeah, but I just like the storyline. Let's keep it going. The Raiders advance with Derek Carr.
Wow.
I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals, I think they're a little young. I think the moment might be a little bit too big for them.
Okay.
And I think the media, if it does come down to it, hearing, at least locally in Cincinnati, the Bengals have lost 7 wildcard games in a row. They might get in their heads a little bit.
I can't believe that. Okay. I like that pick, actually, though. I hope the Vegas Raiders do win this game, if I'm being completely honest. I just don't see it. Second game of Saturday. The second of 2 games on Saturday, because we'll get into the whole Monday night situation, which is so stupid. New England at Buffalo. Interdivision game. We saw last time that New England went to Buffalo. Mac Jones threw 3 passes. I believe he went 2 for 3 for 13 yards or something like that. And they ran the ball every other time. And they actually ended up getting the victory. They can't do that this week. There's no question about that. Josh Allen needs to play better than what he has. If you listen to the Power Rankings episode, I expect him to. I expect them to be just priming themselves for the playoffs, which there's no bigger moment for. Obviously, you have a coach that knows playoffs way better than probably any other coach that's going to be playing this weekend. Um, who do you have, and is there anything you want to add to that?
I currently have the Bill. I think the Bills are going to win. I just think Mac Jones has not played well the end the year. Josh Allen. I mean, I think as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, I like the Bills. I like the Bills in this game.
I'm in the same boat. I think that for the Patriots to win, Mac Jones is going to have to play really, really well. And just based on this last month, I would say that's not very likely. I think he had one good game in the last 4 or 5.
I
So
think I saw something. He has multiple turnovers in 3 of his last 4 games, which for the Patriots to win, he cannot do that.
no, and this defense is going to have to play great. Not
Yeah.
saying they won't because they usually do, but I have the Bills winning this game as well. And for what it's worth, the Bills are favorites by 4.
Okay. In the
On
first game on Sunday, the Philadelphia Eagles are matching up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the number 1 rushing offense versus the number 1 passing offense.
wait, the Eagles are the number one rushing offense.
Yep.
Do you remember weeks ago when all I complained about was Miles Sanders?
Yep.
How are they the number one rushing offense? I don't know if Miles Sanders ran for 100 yards once, and he's their number one guy.
Jalen Hurts is a running back.
Oh, God, another one of those. Tom Brady obviously has been here more than anyone. While I just said on the Power Rankings podcast that I don't know who he's going to have to throw the ball to and that they're going to need an 80% Gronkowski. We also had the Philadelphia Eagles both at 14. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I got the Buccaneers as well. I think the Eagles should just be happy that they're even in the postseason. I think this is going to be a learning experience for them.
Yeah, no, it's a great story. Sirianni's going to get a game that he really needs to continue to grow with this franchise. For what it's worth, the Buccaneers are favorited by 8.5. I believe that's the second biggest line of the week. But I don't know. I think that the Bucs are going to not lose in the wild card. You just have Tom Brady, who has way too much experience for that.
Yeah, I got the Bucs winning too. I'll take the number 1 pass offense over the number 1 rushing offense in sunny South Florida.
Yeah. Second game of Sunday is the San Francisco 49ers against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is favored by 3. 49ers had a great comeback last week. I don't know who's going to win this game. I want to say Dallas, but Dak Prescott needs to play better than what he has been to end the year. Not that he's played terrible, but he has to play like the contract that he was given. What is he making? 40-45 million a year?
I think somewhere up there. I think he's a top 5 paid quarterback.
I think he's definitely top 5. He's just not playing like a $40 million quarterback. Which
You
is
never
kind
know.
of
You knew he was never going to play like top 5. They had to give him the money because they had to keep the quarterback that they had.
It's such a tough situation. This team easily could have continued to grow, but Dak is really, really good. I'm not saying he's not.
Yeah.
But he needs to play well against a tough 49ers defense for them to win this game in Jerry's world.
It doesn't help that the 49ers do not have a great secondary, and they're going to have to go up against CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Blake Jarwin, Tony Pollard probably out of the backfield a little bit,
Michael Gallup
Cedric
playing,
Wilson.
Right?
What?
Is Gallup playing?
Gallup's done for the year.
Is he? Okay. I couldn't remember if he was or not.
I believe Gallup's done for the year.
That makes the most sense. I think I remember seeing that, but I don't have it in front of me. I'm going to take Dallas. I think that Dak's going to play well. but this is a game probably that I'm the least confident in.
In the matchup of head coaches, I think one is far superior to the other. One has a Super Bowl title and one lost in a Super Bowl. But Shanahan is a far superior coach to Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I would say so too. I was wondering where you were going with this, and I was getting a little worried. However, you brought it back for me. We're back to where I thought you were going to go, because I was like, please tell me that after all these years of him complaining about Mike McCarthy, he's not going to say he's better than Shanahan.
Dallas is 5-2 all time against San Francisco in the postseason. The rivalry is renewed.
So who do you have?
I think Shanahan is going to come up with a game plan that's going to get Kittle, Ayuk, and Debo involved. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. Trey Lance is going to have his packages in the goal line situation where it's going to be tough for that Dallas defense to stop them. I do like how Parsons and Lawrence have played for Dallas off the edge. But yeah, I just think Shanahan is going to have a game plan that can match up against that Dallas defense and do what and attack that secondary and make Trayvon Diggs look like not the corner that people think he is with 8 interceptions. And I'm also going to say how dumb this is that this is the Nickelodeon game.
I forgot about the Nickelodeon game.
But yeah, give me the 49ers to go into Dallas and beat the Cowboys.
Wow.
I think it's just a matchup. I think the 49ers are going to be a tough matchup for the Cowboys.
I hope it happens, because I want to see Jerry Jones freak out at a press conference. I've been waiting all year for this. I've been waiting all year for that southern fat boy to just go up there, blame Mike McCarthy for everything. It's going to happen. Pittsburgh at Kansas City is the last game of Sunday, but not the last of the playoff weekend. Kansas City is the biggest favorites by 12.5 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Top 3 quarterback in the league versus old man Ben Roethlisberger. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce didn't play first time they played. Now, I believe in that first game, they had a limited Hayward and no Watt, or maybe it was reversed. Regardless, I don't think that's going to matter too much. The defense for the Chiefs is looking better and better. They're still got Mahomes. The Steelers still have Big Ben. That's what it really comes down to. Big Ben, you said it in the Power Rankings episode that he has tied for the most wild card weekend losses. This is the weekend he breaks the record, goes out with a record-breaking performance, and the Chiefs get the victory.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are just going to be too talented. I think that Big Ben is not very mobile, and he has a terrible O-line in front of him. I think Melvin Ingram, Chris Jones, and Frank Clark are going to harass him. I think the only chance the Steelers have is Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson are going to have massive games, as well as getting Claypool involved in the rushing attack. Now, I actually like the direction the Steelers are going. I think they have a great defense. If they can get an O-line and a quarterback, they have some of the best weapons in football.
We'll have an off-seasons episode where we go through the top 50 free agents and just discuss where we think they'll end up. I agree. I think that they could easily turn this thing into being back to the division leaders, especially if they're able to keep Mike Tomlin. That's the biggest part of the entire thing. And then the first Monday night playoff game is between the Arizona Cardinals and the LA Rams. Let's first talk about the big one. Well, actually, Rams -4 is the line. But let's talk about how stupid it is that the NFL has a Monday night playoff game. There's a chance that they could be going on short notice then and playing on Saturday the next week. Yep. Why is that something that the NFL thought was a good idea?
I don't know. I think it's all about the money at this point.
Like, I get wanting to give ESPN a game. but also their broadcasters put me to sleep.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They are the worst. Unless Herb Street and Chris Fowler are the ones announcing this game, which that is a lot more tolerable.
Oh, they were so good on that Chiefs Broncos game last week.
They were great. I would watch, if that's your next Monday night crew, you might have the best duo in the NFL. But right now,
are they going to take them off that Saturday night ABC game?
You can still do it though. They'd have a whole day to travel.
Their contracts would probably have to,
if you're ESPN and you can get rid of Levy and maybe Louis Riddick is joining a front office somewhere, maybe
Chicago.
Unfortunately, that's what the rumors are, is possibly Chicago. And Greasy, Greasy's good, but he just doesn't care. And it seems like that, at least. If you are saying goodbye to Riddick's contract because he's joining an NFL team, you can easily bring some money up. And I think everyone would be happy.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that's the case. I believe that we are going to be getting the dream team of Levy, Riddick, and Greasy. And now
what about the sideline reporting of Booger McFarland?
Yeah, I mean, Fox has like Megan O'Leary. Up until a few weeks ago, NBC had Michelle Tafoya. I mean, why is Booger McFarland your sideline reporter? Is he still? I mean, I don't watch their broadcasts. I
have no idea. I just know last year some of them.
Is he still in that moving cart thing?
Yeah, there's a guy on Bleacher Report. That's name is Booger McFarland, and he's like, the Saints play in New Orleans for commentary about shit.
I think Booger McFarland would be funny if he wasn't on ESPN. I would actually probably enjoy Booger McFarland, but his NFL commentary is god awful. I don't think we're getting Manning cast, so we don't get to see Eli Manning with Chew trying to hide it the entire time. Like, honestly, shout out to episodes way back when we were doing them on Monday nights. But let's jump into the game part, even though we're very upset and kind of confused by the Monday night decision. Rams, they need to play better. Stafford needs to be more responsible with the ball in his hands. Cardinals played awful to end the season. It's amazing that they got the 5 seed still. Cliff Kingsbury at one point was being talked about as coach of the year. Still a good coach. Kyler Murray, great quarterback, is going to be your franchise guy. They're not going to be getting Hopkins back this week. It's very up in the air. Seems like it's not going to happen to get JJ Watt back this week. It's going to be tough. I think the Rams defense, especially with Miller, Donald, Floyd attacking the quarterback, probably being able to contain Kyler, is going to be what puts this team over the edge.
Yeah, I have. So I'm seeing right now on NFL.com, the Rams have won 9 of the last 10 games against the Cardinals. Sean McVay has their number.
I think one of the games this year, they had to play Colt McCoy. I could be mistaken.
Was that the one that they won then?
No, I thought they lost.
Oh, they lost.
McCoy had 2 or 3 starts this year.
Oh, yeah. Colt McCoy. That might have been the one that they lost then.
So, I kind of take it with a grain of salt. I don't know how much I put into that stat. However, the Rams are a better team.
Yeah. Cardinals have lost 4 of their last 5 getting into the postseason. They are not playing good football.
I think the Cardinals wish they got OBJ.
Yeah. But Stafford, he has the weapons. I saw a stat that he's thrown 8 interceptions in his last 4 games.
He needs to clean that up. 7
of them were to non-Cooper Kupp.
Wait, we're not to Cooper Kupp?
Yeah. Cooper Kupp has played unbelievable. I don't see anyone being able to stop him. And if they can get Sony Michel, Darrell Henderson involved, I like the Rams. I don't think the Cardinals really stand a chance against the Rams if the Rams are playing their best.
Didn't Cam Akers also return?
Yeah.
So, and we're really not even talking about OBJ. We're not talking about Tyler Higbee. Up until last week, I probably would have had Jonathan Taylor as the offensive player of the year. I'm probably giving that to Cooper Kupp just based on the fact that they made the playoffs. But I mean, I think the Rams have way too much firepower. And then on the other side, you have the Cardinals wide receiver core, who's going to be guarded by Jalen Ramsey because they're going to get bodied the entire game. And then on the
AJ Green, Christian Kirk.
Come on, you can't do that. Williams on the other side isn't a scrub either. If it was Hopkins on Ramsey, and then you have one of those two possibly getting open, then yes, this game's a completely different game. Hopkins is a big reason for their success early in the year. Obviously gets injured, and then we saw what happened. They fell. They started to look incapable at times on offense. Obviously, the Kyler Murray injury, how recovered is he? Probably pretty well now, but it's the NFL season. Everyone's banged up.
Aaron Rodgers has to take shots in his foot, not recently, for his broken toe.
Okay.
I was just going into the everyone's injured.
I know. So, yes, the Rams are going to win this game. They are a better team than the Cardinals.
Yep. And then getting into our picks from the season, me and Jacob both did not do great.
But you did better than I did.
If you were if you were betting with us, you definitely would have lost money. But Jacob went 98, 23, and 1. The one tie was Bengals Packers.
Oh yeah,
it was a push
when no one could kick a field goal.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
I went 108, 113, and 1. I had a strong end to the season, or it would have been bad for me as well.
So yeah, if you faded us, you probably won a little bit of money. And I'm happy.
If you faded Jacob, you won a lot of money.
Yeah, that is true. Thank you for that. Do you have anything else that you kind of want to say before we get ready for what should be a fun wildcard weekend?
Yeah. As a Packers fan, I'm a little okay with having that week off. I'm happy that we have the week off, getting 5 starters back on offense or between the offense and defense. I think, if the Packers do not win this game or do not make a Super Bowl this year, I don't see how they don't.
Listen over at the power rankings, because if you're a Packers fan, you might not like it, but I think I spoke mostly all truth about this team. I'm not going to give it away completely, but I do think they should win the Super Bowl. That's all I'll say. And then if you're gambling with us, gamble responsibly. We're not responsible for your winnings or losings. If you or someone you know has gambling disorder, call the state's helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. Text Illinois GAMB or ILGAMB GAMB to 53342 if you live in the state of Illinois, or visit https : I guess I didn't need to say that, weknowthefeeling.org. Got to get a little bit more into the legal parts of everything because we've been growing rather quickly. So I know you guys haven't heard that part of it, and I had to read it off because there's no way I'm memorizing that. And I think that's it for this week. Sam, anything you want to close with?
Yeah. I mean, check out the our MMA podcast. Jacob and Hunter just put out a video yesterday, getting some pretty decent views on it.
A lot of weird comments too. So leave us your weirdest comment. I will still like it with the Winners Only Club account. Also, go to winnersonlyclub.com and look at our article about the coaches, who we think is going to be replacing them, who we think. Actually, really, that's pretty much all we said in the article. There's nothing else.
Yeah. Well, it gave a reason why they were fired, why we think they should be replaced, and who we think is potentially going to replace them.
And what sense it makes. I mean, we're not just saying like random names. I'm not going to say that Jesus Christ should be the Bears head coach, even though that would be pretty great.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully we have a good weekend. I think we will. So also, if you're a UFC fan, UFC is on Saturday night. Maybe another reason that ESPN didn't get that. Now that I think,
Yeah, isn't it Cater Chikadze?
yep, I think it's gonna be a fun one. And then we got the big one next week. All right, we'll see you guys later. Have a good rest of your night or day.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.